Hi everyone, and welcome to my kit review of a Dragon's 1/35th scale Aufklärungspanzer 38T, which is a reconnaissance tank based on the 38T chassis. The box is a little bit old because this one was at the bottom of the slash, but if we look through the artwork, very nice camouflage patterns. There's a couple of examples on the side as well. It also shows that the kit comes with photo etch, some of it needed, some of it optional. And then as we come round again, there's a repeat of the artwork from the top, and it shows that this is a Dragon Smart Kit 6294. Then there are examples of the parts that you can find within the kit itself, showing you details of some of the internal parts. And then we finish off again with a repeat of the top artwork. So let's have a look and see what's inside the box. So first off, sprue A. This deals with all of the wheels. The wheels, from what I can see, are correct with the correct amount of holes and rivets and bolts. The smaller wheels that support the tracks have the standard Continent 2 written on them. And if you want to change them to the accurate Continental, then it's just a matter of just cutting off a small part of the wording. But that's standard with all Dragon kits. As you can see, the detailing is very crisp and there is next to no flash at all. There is a separate piece here which shows you the wooden mat that goes on the interior. As for the fenders, you can swap them out if you want to, but they are nicely detailed and I have no issue with them at all. There are details here of the main armour on the back and the front. The exhaust here that you can see you do not use, that's for a standard 38T. But most of the parts here, as you can see with the toolbox, are for this particular kit, and some of these parts can be replaced with photo etch that's included with the kit, which we'll look at later. Just to let you know, this kit goes together extremely well, and I had no issues with the fit at all. These are the internal details that you will get for this particular build. Here we have some of the transmission and some of the seats, and the detailing is very good. You don't get 100% of all of the detail of the interior, and there are no engine parts either. But what you do get is accurate. But if you wish to, you can add to the interior detailing. There are a lot of sprue connectors, a lot of seam lines, so a bit of cleaning up on each of the parts is required with this kit. This is the actual hull itself, all comes in one molded part. I had no issues with any of it bowing or being out of place or any sink marks at all. Nice detailing on the underside as well. And as you can see from this photo, it's around about 4.5 inches long, so quite a small model. Now we have sprue H. There's a little bit of confusion because there are two sprue H's. This particular one is for the build-up of the top part of the turret and also the ammo boxes, which are beautifully detailed and I was very impressed with. This particular section is historically inaccurate, and if you do want to change it, it does take a bit of work. However, if you would just want to do an out-of-the-box build, it does go together nicely. Now, if we look at the other sprue H, this comes in two parts purely because you can't fit it into the box, and this is more detailing on the actual turret itself. Some of these pieces can be swapped out for photo etch replacements as well. And this is the other part of the sprue. This shows you the lower part of the turret. Now, this is a very detailed and very fiddly part of the build, but to Dragon's credit, these parts go together perfectly, and there was no issues with fit at all, and it turned into a very nice part of the build. Here we have the main gun, 2 KwK38, which is very nice indeed, and it is pretty accurate as well with all its detailing, and there are some cover options if you so wish. This particular screw is purely for the magazines at the bottom if you want to use extra on the actual model itself, or possibly if you want it for diorama. Here we have the tools. You will see that there are no clamps on the tools. There is need to put those on using the photo etch set. But again, the detailing is very crisp and very nice on this tooling set from Dragon. Here we have the German NG. You only actually used the top part 1A, and I must say the detail was absolutely superb. Very impressed indeed with this part of the build. There are some clear parts, and these are for the visors on the front mantle of the actual vehicle. And the decal very limited. There are no regiment or division signs at all. Here we have the Spider radio aerial, which can be used on the back. This is very brittle and needs a great deal of care when taking off the sprue and when cleaning up, as it will snap easily. Here are the photo etch. There are two sheets altogether, beautifully detailed, goes together very nicely indeed. Have no issues with it at all, except for that part number 4, which is for the Nortec. That does seem to be too large for the plastic part. Everything else is usable, and there are some options there if you require. And then final part of the photo etch are the top covers for the turret, beautifully detailed, already bent into place for you. And there are some plastic supports that you will add to this particular part. And it builds into a nice feature on the model. We have the magic tracks, nicely detailed, very crisp, even to the extent that there are individual numbers molded onto each track. And there are plenty of videos on YouTube to show you how to put magic tracks together. Here we have the instructions, or as I like to call them, destructions, because we all know that Dragon make continuous mistakes on their instruction manuals, and this kit is no different. Again, they're fairly clear. There are a few areas where you have to sort of dry fit just to make sure it goes together okay. But the options are clearly marked. There are a couple of major mistakes on the instructions, namely here on the turret, whereby the sides are incorrectly marked. Here, H13 and H15, they need to be swapped around, as well as the supports that go onto the fenders. But there are other mistakes, so you do need to be careful. And like I say, dry fit everything as you go. Here are some of the examples whereby you can either use the plastic parts or you can swap them out and use the photo etch parts. And it also gives you a nice detail of the interior that they have. And there's also a tool that allows you to bend the fender to make it more realistic. It's a little bit difficult because the molding is incorrect, but there is option there if you wish to do so. Here with the top turret with the gun, again, as I said earlier, builds into a very nice part of the model, very detailed but very fragile as well. And here you have the top covers. You can have them either open or closed, and that very fragile aerial on the back as well. There are two paint schemes, one for camouflage and one just purely for Dunkelgelb. Again, they're both unidentified because there are very few historical details of this vehicle. So that's the instructions. Also in there is a small little pamphlet, just Dragon telling you how wonderful they think this kit is and some of the options involved. So that just leaves me to say a big thank you for popping in and looking at this review. Many thanks to all of my subscribers, old and new, for your continued support of my work and for the channel. And in the meantime, happy modelling.